Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing good. My name is Cynthia. If this is your first time here, you're highly welcome. Please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit that notification bell so you'll be notified each time I upload a new video. So today we're going to be making a dress. So this is what we're going to be making. I'll be using two different fabric. The upper part, this is African print. The second one is scuba fabric, while the down part is African print. So if you look at the sleeve here, we have a African print and the scuba fabric. So I'll be using a combination of two fabrics. So let's get to it. So these are the items we need for this tutorial. We need 1.5 meters of scuba fabric, 1.5 yards of African print. I need a pattern paper. In order not to waste fabric, I will use the pattern paper for the upper side. I will draft it and transfer it to the fabric. The pattern will be for the half length, that is from shoulder to the waist measurement. So from shoulder to waist is 18 inches. I'll be adding roughly 1.5 inches for sewing allowance for the upper part and the down part. I've already marked up some lines here. From shoulder to chest is 9 inches. From shoulder to bust is 10 inches plus sewing allowance, that is 10.5 inches. And from shoulder to waist is 18 inches plus 1.5 or 1 inch for sewing allowance. So I'm cutting the front and the back together. As you can see, the back is 2 inches bigger than the front one. Because of zipper allowance, I added 2 inches to the back side. And I used the bust measurement to cut out my pattern because the bust is the biggest part of the upper part. So I will start by placing the measurement. So I'll place my shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 16 inches. Divided by 2 is 8 inches. So I'm going to be extending the shoulder. Instead of me marking 8 inches, I will mark 11 inches. So I'm adding 3 inches to it. So I'll mark it 11 inches. I'm just making it like a kimono. That's the upper part. So this is 11 inches. So here I will mark the neckline. The wideness of the neck is 3.5 inches here. And the depth is also 3.5 inches. So I'll connect the lines together. So for the back side, I'll still take 3.5 inches for the wideness of the neck. And 2 inches for the depth. I will come down here 1 inch for shoulder slope. And I will mark it right from here. And right from here, I will take my armhole, which is 16 inches divided by 2 is 8 inches. That is this chest line. I'll look for the midpoint. Connect it. So I'll mark 1/2 inch. This will be for the front side. So I'll place the circumference measurement. The bust measurement is 42 inches. Divided by 4 is 10.5 inches. So I'll mark 10.5 inches here. So if you like, you can add your sewing allowance here, or you add your sewing allowance while cutting out the fabric. But I will add my sewing allowance here. 10.5 inches. Then I'll add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. And I will add another 1 inch here because I'll be cutting here, be joining them here together. So I'll add another 1 inch here. So I'm going to explain that to you guys later on. So I'll come to the waistline. The waist measurement is 36 inches divided by 4 is 9 inches. So I will add 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. That is 10.5 inches plus 1 inch for that. That is 11.5 inches. So I'll connect the lines right from the chest to the waistline. So I'll place my bust palm here. The bust palm is 8 inches, divided by 2 is 4 inches, plus ½ inch sewing allowance. That is 4.5 inches. That is this line. So I will take it, make a line all the way to the chest line. Then I will take ½ inch on this side for that, and ½ inch on this side. So I will leave the dart first. I will come to this line because this is where I'll be cutting it. So right from the shoulder, I'm going to be cutting out 6.5 inches. That's for the yoke. So I'll mark 6.5 inches here. This is 6.5 inches. I'll take this line up. As I'll be cutting this place also, I'll be adding these 1 inch on this side also, just like the dart measurement. I'll add ½ inch on this side and add ½ inch on this side, just like the dart measurement. So I'm going to connect this to this and connect this to this. And I'll add this 1 inch back here. That is the main reason I added 1 inch to this side. So I will add this 1 inch back because I'll be cutting here out. I'll connect this line, take it across like so. So I'll be cutting this out. I'm going to cut this out. The back and the front side is basically the same thing. So I will cut these out. So I'm cutting out these out now. So I'm using the same thing for the front and the back. So I'll cut the neckline out. So I'm cutting the dart now. So I'll finish cutting out everything, both the front and the back. This is from yoke to the waistline. I will transfer the upper part to this African print. Then I transfer this part to this scuba fabric. So I will set this aside. We'll cut out the down part. The down part is scuba fabric. So we're going to be cutting out the down part. So I folded the fabric into two. I used the hip measurement to cut out the fabric, because the hip measurement is the biggest part of the down part. And I added 2 inches for zipper allowance as well to the back side. So I'm cutting both of them together. This is stretchy fabric. Normally I don't add sewing allowance to stretchy fabric, but to be on the safer side, I'm going to be adding 1 inch sewing allowance for joining it here and for joining this side. Remember, we have 3 sections. We've cut out the upper one. This is the second one. And we'll be adding African print to the down part. The length of the dress is 44 inches minus 18 inches. That's the upper part is 26 inches. So the down part is 26 inches. And I'll be minusing 4 inches from the down part, because I'll use the 4 inches for the ankara fabric. Instead of me cutting out 26 inches for this down part, I'll be cutting out 22 inches plus 1 is sewing allowance. That is 23 inches. So I'm going to mark my 23 inches here. We start with the waist measurement. The waist measurement is 36 inches divided by 4 is 9 inches. Normally, you don't add sewing allowance to stretchy fabric. But to be on the safer side, I will add 1 inch for sewing allowance. That is 10 inches. I'm not adding that to the down part. So 10 inches. From waist to hip is 8 inches plus ½ inch sewing allowance. That is 8.5 inches. So right here, I will place my hip measurement. The hip measurement is 46 inches. Divided by 4 is 11.5 inches. Then plus 1 is sewing allowance. That is 12.5 inches. Then I will go to the down part. I will reduce here by 1 inch because it's a pencil dress. I have 12.5 inches here. I either mark 11 inches here or 11.5 inches here. So I will go to this part and mark 11 inches. I'm minusing 1.5 inch here. Depending on how pence you want the down part to be. I will connect it from the waist to the hip line and from hip to the down part. So I'll cut it out. So I finished cutting out the down part. This is the front and this is the back. So I splitted the back into two. That's where I'm going to attach my zip. So we're going to be joining the fabric together now. So we'll be cutting out the sleeves later. So we're going to be putting the fabric together. I've transferred the pattern to my fabric. That's the upper part. This is the yoke and this is for this side. So I will sew them together 1/2 inch on this side. I will sew this side also. So I will sew them together. After sewing them together here, then I will turn this to this side. Make sure the right side are facing each other. And I also join them together here. I will do the same thing to the back side. I will sew it here, this side, and sew this side. I join them together here. So I finished joining them together. So we're going to be joining the down part to the upper part. I will use the remaining 4 inches to cut out this. So I'll be adding this here. I have 9 inches here. Folded into 2 is 4.5 inches. So I'll be using 1/2 inch for sewing allowance. I'll be placing this at the bottom here. So what I'm going to do is to join the upper part to this one here. So I will turn it, make sure the right side are facing each other. So I'll sew it here at the waistline here. I will sew this 4.5 inches here at the bottom side. I'll do the same thing to the back side. So I'll do the same thing to the back side. I will join them at the waistline. Join the down part. Then after I've done that, I will add my zip to the back side. I will turn it this way. Take my zipper allowance. My zip is up to here. I will insert my zip here. Then sew the remaining part. So guys, I finished joining them together. This is the front one. This is the back one. I've also attached my zip. So I'm going to be joining both sides together now. Front and back. First I will join the shoulders. And I've also used a facing to turn my neckline. I cut out a facing, sew it, and I turn it to the other side. So I want to make sure the waist are lined together. So I will take the exact bust measurement, waist measurement, and hip measurement. So bust measurement is 42 inches, divided by 2 is 21 inches. Alright, this is 21. The waist is 18 inches. And the hip is 23 inches. So I'll take it from the bust to the waist and from the waist to the hip. From hip to the down side. So I will sew the shoulders and then sew the both sides together. So I've finished joining them together. I use 1 inch bias tape to attach to the button here, the button of the dress. Before we cut out the sleeve, I will make a slit here. I'll look for the midpoint. This is the midpoint. From this neckline, now this is the midpoint. From the neckline, I will come down 2 inches and make a slit there. I'll just take 1/4 of an inch, just so I cut out this black strip. I will use this black strip to hem it. To hem it here. Then after I've done that, I will attach this here. These are lace patches. I will use iron to glue it here. So we go ahead and cut out the sleeve now. I want you. And we fold it like so. I don't want it too full, not full flared. I'm just making about a 180-degree flared. So I will measure the armhole. So I have 9 inches on one side. When you take it round is 18 inches. Then I will use the 18 inches to cut out the sleeves. So this is the sleeve. I'll be mixing it with 2 fabric as well. The round armhole is 18 inches. 18 divided by 2 is 9 inches. Plus 1 is sewing allowance, that is 10 inches. I'll mark my 10 inches here. So from here, I will take my sleeve length. My sleeve length is 23 inches. Plus sewing allowance. Just take it like so. So I'll cut the upper part here. So I'm going to be cutting this side out, then I'll use this side to cut out the black fabric, and this side will be good for the African print. I'm going to cut it in a way that when I sew it, it will rhyme with this African print, to go along with this African print, the upper part here. So I'm going to measure this. I have 4.5 inches here. So plus sewing allowance is 5 inches. So I'll place 5 inches here plus sewing allowance. Alright. I'll just take it all the way down. So I'm cutting it. This will remain here. So we use this to cut out the black fabric. So I'll fold it into 2. And place it like so. And cut it out. This is a stretchy fabric. I'm not going to be adding sewing allowance to it. If it's not stretchy, if you're using just the same fabric, you add half inch sewing allowance to the side. So I've cut out this. So we'll place it to look like so. So what I will do is to join these together, to sew this on this side, sew the other one on this side, and after sewing it to look like so, then I will sew the side before we attach it to the armhole. So I will use this to cut out the other sleeve. So I finished sewing the sleeve. I turn it to the right side. I finished joining the black fabric to the African print. And I've also sewn this side. So I iron some lace patches here. So I'm going to turn these to the wrong side. So I'll tuck the sleeve inside. This is the right side. So I will join the side seam together and pin them round. This is the one I mentioned earlier. I make sure these are craft fabric. So I make sure these align with this other one. I make sure I align with the yoke. So I'll go ahead and sew it round. I'll do the same thing for the other sleeve. So guys, I finished attaching the sleeve to the dress. So this is the one I was talking about. You have to make sure the upper part, that's the yoke, align with the sleeve, the ankara part of it. The back side as well. So you align with the back side. So this is the neck design. This is the other part of the sleeve. I didn't make any slits at the back because it's a stretchy fabric. So we have come to the end of today's tutorial. Please subscribe to my channel if this is your first time here. Thank you so much guys for watching. If you like my video, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Share my video. I will see you guys in my next one. Love you. Bye.